What's up, guys? It's London here. Finally back from my shadow season. I haven't posted here in over 3 months, but now I'm finally back and I decided that I want to make a full 1 year review of Monetise since it was exactly 12 months ago since I joined Monetise for the first time, and I just saw that Iman is opening up Monetize again now for the third or fourth time. I'm not really keeping count, but I thought I wanted to leave my opinions on it out there, might be able to help some of you guys to decide if it is something for you. I'm sorry that this video might be coming out a bit late and the enrollment might already be closed, but if you're considering it to get maybe next time, then this video will be for you. So as you know, I've been super busy lately, so I haven't been able to really prepare that much for this video. I got multiple launches going on right now, so just been super busy with that. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about like the main pros and cons of Monetize, what you can expect inside, and then later at the end I will just talk a little bit about my own story and my own results since I started Monetize 1 year ago. And I might miss some things here and there, so if you have any more questions about anything in Monetize, feel free to leave a comment and I can answer you there. But yeah, the things I want to talk about in this video is just the two main programs that are inside, the AI tools, and just like the offer in general with the coaching calls and the community. So to start off, you probably already been on Iman's live stream, so I'm not gonna tell you all about Monetize, explaining how it works, everything that is included, but basically it's a 2K offer for the first entry-level price. Then for those of you who haven't gotten that, there is an upsell for the same amount. Usually it's around 2K. I think he experiments with different price points, different launches, but expect somewhere around 2K just to enter Monetize, and then another 2K for the upsell. And the upsell is for something called Monetize Pro, which I don't remember exactly the guarantee that they say with that offer, but basically what you get from Monetize Pro is 3 extra coaching calls inside, and you get a pro chat. So in my opinion, it's not worth all that extra money, but if you really want to get extra support and extra like help, maybe some extra knowledge that you might not get in the normal Monetize, might be worth it. But in my opinion, I haven't used the pro chat at all, and I haven't seen it being that useful either. And if it's the only thing I would consider valuable in Monetize Pro is the coaching calls, but if you're looking for like one-on-one guidance and support, it's going to be hard because it's still a few hundred people inside the pro. So, you know, you're not always going to get help, but the chance of getting your questions asked and being taken up on stage is going to be much higher compared to the normal coaching calls where, you know, when he opens Monetize, it's up to thousands of people on them. So that's one big downside, that sometimes you're not going to get the support that you need. And even though they frame it really nice that they're gonna work with you, all of that, you're pretty much left on your own. And you can obviously use the forum. I've seen they've been decent with response rates there, but the thing I dislike the most is that, for example, inside Pro, the coaches tell you to like send them DMs to get some extra support and talk with them about like your specific situation, the specific things you are doing, and they can, you know, review your landing pages, review your audits, all of that. They just tell you to DM. But from my experience, I've sent them like 4 of the coaches messages, even did multiple follow-ups, and I only got a response from 1. And that response was not even helpful. I had to follow up and, you know, still haven't even got a response from that. So on the support side of things, it hasn't been the best, but yeah, something I'm gonna talk about later, the community aspect. That's actually where I've gotten most of the support. And just to talk about Monetise in general, it's a night and day different compared to when I joined 1 year ago compared to the way Monetise is today. So that's really a good thing if you're considering like actually taking this path and sticking with it. Being a part of Monetize, I think it's going to be helpful because Iman and the team, they keep refining, keep improving based on feedback. They keep adding new material, new things, new strategies, all of that. So that's been something good. And compared to like when I joined 1 year ago, I wouldn't say it was worth the money I paid, but definitely now looking into the future, 1 year into it, with the amount of value and things I've been getting inside, it's pretty much been worth it. And yeah, something that might be for completely new people. Maybe you haven't bought older programs from Iman like I did back in the days, Agency Accelerator, Digital Launchpad, and a lot of programs, all those programs, some extra consulting programs, some growth program, they are all added inside, I swear. So it's a lot of material and you can easily feel overwhelmed when you join inside. I haven't been through all of the material. I'm mainly focused on the main ones, but I mean, you can definitely find some value in those programs, but I mean, he's probably just adding them to add to the perceived value of the offer. If you're gonna do like shadow operating or sell your own AI digital products, I don't think they are that useful. But the main program that I started with 1 year ago, it was only the digital product formula 1.0, which in my opinion wasn't the best. Like if you are a beginner, it can be useful, but if you're already into this space, you're not gonna get that many extra gems and nuggets in there. So it hasn't been really that useful. It wasn't that in depth. They were missing some parts. Like obviously I had some technical experience before, so I knew how to do some basic things. But let's say, for example, if my mom were to buy Monetize, I think she would have struggled a bit implementing and being able to follow the steps inside on her own. However, the new program, which they made in the beginning of this year, 2026, the Shadow Operating Playbook, is a big difference, and that program is really been much more detailed, more in depth, a lot of extra walkthroughs covering things, technical side of things outside of what Iman talks about in the videos. So that's has really been a good thing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish the whole Shadow Operating Playbook because of what happened with my account when I lost Monetize in the beginning of this year. But yeah, I also heard they added a digital product Formula 2.0 now, which I think it's going to be better than the first one that I had in the beginning when I joined. So if you're going to take the path with creating your own digital products with AI, that one is probably going to be better. You're probably going to get much more value out of it. Now, when it comes to the AI tools, it's pretty much going to be the same as with the program in general. The tools have also been improved a lot, and compared to when I joined, they were completely like not completely garbage. Like if you're someone completely new, you haven't used AI before, it's definitely going to be helpful. But if you know like some basic prompting and stuff, you could easily do it so much better with normal AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude. But yeah, during the months and the tools developing, like I made multiple products. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that later. But uh, you don't want to get the illusion that AI is going to do like 80 to 90% of the work for you. Because that's not the case if you want to get output that's really going to sell, and you cannot just use what Synthesize gives you. And for me, just to say, like, for example, with the latest versions now of Synthesize and Ghostwriter, maybe it does 50% of the things, then I need to refine it, improve, fine tune a lot of things to get that final output, which is going to be what I actually sell. So AI definitely gets me, like it helps, those AI tools helps, but you can easily accomplish the same things without them. And if you don't have the budget to invest, it's not really super necessary. And in my opinion, they're still like pretty generic. Like for example, Ghostwriter, it has a good idea with like the DNA, all of that, which is supposed to personalize it, customize it exactly depending on the creator, the audience, and the product. But it's still like it's using these expert marketing templates, so the output still turns out in a similar structure, not that much uniqueness and variation. And that's something that was really detrimental for me when I was starting my other YouTube channel, when I was selling my own digital products back in the days. And same thing with Synthesize. I wasn't able to sell what Synthesize made because nobody would have liked it. It was just full of fluff, generic things. It sounded not that good. And then the overall concept of how it works, like gathering all this information and just synthesize this into one clear digital product, finding these demands, developing this visceral transformation map with the UVC. It did all of that really good, but then in the actual output and the scripts content that it made, it wasn't even aligned with what it had prepared. And it even was the option that you could input your own resources. So when I did my own research, just to find like the specific information that I wanted it to base the product on, it didn't even include my supporting references. But that could be something they have improved to this day. But that was just my experience with Synthesize in the past. Now, I'm not gonna rant on too much about the AI tools. They can be useful, but they're not as good and useful as Iman makes it to be. And you can probably learn how to use AI yourself on YouTube. And if you just know how to prompt it, know how things should be, then you can just make your own GPTs, all of that. Pretty simple. But if you don't want to spend all that time, you want something that's like done for you, you can use, pretty simple, then Monetise, it's basically going to be a good fit for you. The same thing with the program, like the information there is not something revolutionary in there. Like you can find it online, but it's just the overall structure, how everything is gathered in one place that makes it worth some parts of the price. Now, when it comes to the actual community inside, as you might guess, Monetize is a huge ecosystem and community. So I guess by now, last time I checked before this launch, it was around 14,000 people inside. So I guess this time it's around 20K. So the community is not that tight, to be honest. You don't make like super personal connections, all of that. So the community hasn't like been super bowl value for me. However, the people I've been able to find inside has been very valuable, because from this monetized community, I've been able to, create my own network, find connections and people that I've been able to work with, learn from, all of that. Even been sitting on live stream calls multiple hours every day back in the days. So yeah, the community aspect of things, finding other people that are doing the same thing, has really been useful, but it's not been like inside of Monetize where it's actually been happening, but rather something you need to put in the effort to actually build relationships outside of Monetize. And that's where like you can build some genuine connections, because you can hop on calls, talk with other people, all of that, which in Monetize you're just going to be listening to the coaches when they have their calls. And another thing with those calls, like I don't think they are super valuable. Like if you have been through the program and you've been, taking notes, learning the things, you're pretty much gonna be wasting your time being on those coaching calls. You could rather just put the time, do some work, and it will yield you so much more than just being there listening to the same things over and over again. However, if you have a question, it might be worth it to join those calls. But if not, I don't see a big point in them. And I mean, the coaches inside, they know their stuff, they know what they're talking about, like they're trained, all of that. So they have the knowledge, but it's still a little different, if you know what I mean, compared to someone who is actually doing what they're doing, because their job is coaching, but they are not actually like selling digital products or doing shadow operating. So in my opinion, it would have been more useful to have someone who, are maybe a few steps ahead of you that's already. Lastly, I just want to talk about, what you can expect if you join something like this. Because the results you are seeing, the results you might have seen from Monetise Mania, this competition, how much money is being generated, all of that, it can give quite a false illusion. And from someone who has been inside since day one, I've actually seen how the playing field actually is. And it might be more brutal than you think, but just to start off, like Monetise Mania, the first one, the one who ended up top 100, made somewhere around $100, which means 99% of people inside made less than $100. And I would even say that 90% probably made $0. And I don't know the reason for that, but one of my guesses is that, people think it's going to be easier than what it actually is. And I'm not gonna talk too much about my results in this video. I made a couple $1,000, but it's like the first 6 months. I actually ended up top 70, 75, something like that in the first Monetise Mania, so made a few $100s there. But the real change happened like 9 months or something into it. That's like the last month before I got suspended. I made like 80% of all the money I was making. So it's really that momentum stacking up, all the effort that you are putting in for months, finally paying off. And the thing with the people that you see on the top of Monetise Mania is they are not complete beginners, just like you. Most of them that I checked, like for example Iman Gadzhi, who won the McLaren, I think, or was it some Rolex, he already had a successful agency before this challenge. And a lot of people, not everyone, but like over 99% of the ones on the top, they already have had some type of business or some type of experience online. So they basically just joined Monetise and they started using WAP as a payment processor. So yeah, the Monetise Mania has been a little bit misrepresentative of the actual people inside. And obviously Iman needs to do it for the marketing side. But if you're gonna join, don't expect to see that big of a result. It's the same thing like for the second Monetise Mania. I was able to get top 1% as well. But yeah, below 100%, like people are making less than $100. So for 99% of people in Monetise, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're not gonna make sustainable income. Might make a few dollars here and there, but nothing like really special. And if you're gonna get it, you need to think about what is like your unique advantage or like competitive edge that you think is gonna get you to the top 1%. And it's going to make sure that you're not gonna end up like 99% of people inside. And I can't know what your advantage is, but for me specifically, what I think made me get top 1% of result in Monetise from someone who hasn't been in this space before, tried other things like trading and dropshipping, which gave me some technical knowledge that I could use here to maybe see some faster progress. But the biggest reason I think why I was able to get top 1% result was, first of all, the consistency and the fact that this was like I was putting my full mental bandwidth into this. I didn't have any other job. I didn't have any studies, any of that. I was in a fortunate life situation where I could take the risk to just go all in on this. Obviously, I'm an elite athlete, so I still wasn't like every single day all on this. Like I still had a lot of things going on, but business like work like side of things, this was like my main focus, which made me like really think about the space a lot, like really integrate into the environment, learning a lot of things, growing even faster. And with the people I was able to meet and build relationships with, it's like the difference between, for example, learning a language in school and actually moving to a country where they speak the language. Just, being inside the industry, getting all this exposure, which is what it have been feeling like for me. Not the first day since I joined, since I still had school, so I was barely using Monetise the first months. But later into the journey, I really delve deep into this industry. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk more this video. Already slept like 4 hours this night, had so many things to do with the launches. But yeah, if you have any more questions regarding Monetize, you can pop it in the comments or send me a DM on IG. And I know I said I was gonna talk about my own results and a little bit more about my own story, but I think I'm going to leave that for the next video. Adios.